Hi, this is Kelly, a retirement counselor here at ND PERS, and today we are going to discuss the ins, outs, and all of the requirements of applying for disability. We will discuss the specific requirements, the application process, payment options that will be available to you, and different insurances you may be eligible for as a recipient of disability. These are the qualifying factors that you'll need to meet in order to be considered eligible for disability through North Dakota Public Employees Retirement System. The first item is you must have at least 6 months of eligible service. The second is you must be disabled during a period of eligible employment. This means you can't have had the disability for several years before starting the position. The disability must have occurred during your eligible employment. Number three, you must be determined to be disabled by the North Dakota Public Employees Retirement System's medical consultant. We'll talk about this more later. Number four, you must be permanently and totally disabled. Number five, you must terminate employment. The next one is also a very important one that gets missed by a lot of folks looking at disability. You must apply for the disability within 12 months of leaving service. This means you can't, apply 2 or 3 years later, even if you left the job because of that disability, but maybe you were exploring other treatment options, or you left the job because of that disability and you took another job for a while and that didn't work out. You must apply for disability within 12 months after leaving employment. And the last one is you must not be eligible for your normal retirement date. This means that you must apply for disability before, not after, but before you meet the rule for normal retirement or the age for normal retirement on your particular retirement plan. And we'll touch more on that later as well. After you've accumulated 6 months of service credit in any of these ND PERS retirement plans, you may be eligible to receive disability benefits from North Dakota Public Employees Retirement System. Remember, you do need to meet the other eligibility criteria that we discussed in the previous slide as well. Judges and highway patrol members do have different disability parameters, so we will have a special video listed for those retirement plan members. Your service credit is based on the retirement plan contributions that the employer sends in on your behalf. This is done on a monthly basis after your regular payroll period. Your disability must have occurred during a period of eligible employment. This criteria is very important because disability benefits are available to members unable to work due to a medically documented physical or mental impairment. These impairments are very serious, expected to result in death, or that has or will last for a minimum of 12 consecutive months. You, the member, must apply while actively employed or within 12 months of your termination date, as I mentioned before. You must send in the completed application for the disability retirement forms. We will discuss those forms in a few minutes, but members and employers can review the Disability Retirement Guide for complete guidelines and rules on the application process. You can apply for disability while you are actively employed in anticipation of leaving soon due to your disability. If you are approved for disability while you are still actively employed, you will not be receiving disability until after you terminate employment. Now, some folks are eligible for early retirement, depending on what time you are, what stage in your career you are, and so forth. Now, if you are eligible for early retirement benefits according to your plan, we will encourage you to apply for early retirement and disability at the same time. This is simply because your retirement benefit does not require a determination, even though the disability one does. Now, why would we do this? Because a disability might take up to 90 days for a determination. And while you are waiting for that determination, you can still receive your early retirement benefits. Now, if your disability benefit is approved and this amount is more than your early retirement benefit, your disability payment will be paid retroactively to the first of the month after you left employment, less any amounts that you were already paid. So now if you apply for both early retirement and disability, and for some reason the disability is not approved, you will continue to receive your early retirement benefit. Let's take a few minutes now to discuss the application process. To begin your disability application, you'll want to review the Disability Retirement Guide and complete the disability forms found on the NDPERS website. If you'd like, we also have retirement counselors who are available to answer your questions on those disability forms, and we would be happy to assist you as well if you'd give us a call. There are 3 forms that are vital to begin your disability application process. One is completed by yourself as the retiree, the disability retiree, that is the SFN 18,000. It's a fairly long form, about 3 pages, and asks all sorts of questions on your disability and so forth. The disability retirement occupational demands is completed by your employer, and then there is a disability retirement attending physician statement, the SFN 54399. That one is completed by your treating physician. So these 3 forms, one that's completed by you, one by your employer, and one by your physician, these 3 are absolutely required to begin your disability application process. Depending on where you are at this time in your career, this law from the North Dakota Century Code may or may not apply to you. This is a new law that came about and says any member who has reached normal retirement age or the normal retirement date for their retirement plan, if they are eligible for unreduced retirement benefits, they may not apply for a disability retirement benefit. In this case, you must terminate employment and apply for disability before you meet your normal retirement date, which is either the rule for retirement on your plan or the normal retirement age of 65. Once you have met the initial disability eligibility and the physician has approved your disability, your benefits will be retroactively paid back to the first of the month after your termination date. Now, what happens is those funds are paid from the general pool of funds, and your member account balance is not touched while you are receiving disability pay. Upon meeting either the rule or your normal retirement date, NDPERS recalculates your benefit and converts your disability benefits into the retirement benefits once you've met that rule for normal retirement. You will be paid the higher lifetime benefit amount of either your disability pay or your normal retirement benefit amount. Upon that conversion, your monthly payments are deducted from your member account balance now instead of the general pool of funds. Here is a quick recap on your application process. Once all of your required forms and paperwork are received by NDPERS, your disability determination is moved to the contracted medical advisor. That medical advisor may take 60 to 90 days to determine if your application is approved or denied. Members with approved disability applications will receive retroactive payment back to the first of the month after they left employment. When we first discussed your disability application, I mentioned the 3 forms that must be received in order for your disability to be considered. The one that you fill in, the form that your employer submits, and the form that your physician submits. Additionally, before disability retirement payment can be made, you do need to make sure that ND PERS has these additional retirement forms. We need to have a designation of beneficiary for the group retirement. So that is an SFN 2560. We must also have authorization for the annuity payments. That is the SFN 18379. It's a quick direct deposit form, very easy to fill out. We also require tax elections. The SFN 51506 is in regards to state taxes. The W-4P is for federal taxes. We also require the eligible insurance election forms. If you've had health, we require the health enrollment form to either accept or deny that with a COBRA. The vision and dental is for all retirees, and life insurance if you are eligible for that as well. Additionally, depending on the payment option you select, we do require your birth certificate for all payment options. And if you choose a joint and survivor option, we do require your spouse's birth certificate and a marriage certificate as well. Let's just take a minute to talk about recertification. This is a requirement for anyone who is on disability payments with ND PERS. You will be required to recertify every 18 months unless you are notified via letter from ND PERS that you no longer need to recertify. If you fail to recertify as is required, your North Dakota PERS disability payments will stop. Now, your insurances that you have signed up for, once you met that initial insurance eligibility, you can remain on that coverage as long as you continue to pay the insurance premiums. But failing to recertify your disability on that 18-month basis will cause your disability payments to stop. Let's talk a minute about the Social Security disability benefits. You may apply for Social Security at the same time you are applying for ND PERS disability. You may apply for them afterwards. Everyone is kind of in a different stage of that, but if you do apply for Social Security disability and are awarded that, you will want to notify ND PERS and get us a copy of your Social Security Disability Award letter as soon as possible. That Social Security Disability Award letter could expedite your disability approval. It could also stop you from having to recertify every 18 months. There's just a lot of good things that can happen that way. So you will want to let us know as soon as you are awarded Social Security disability. I cannot stress enough how important it is to let ND PERS know if you have received Social Security disability approval. If you are already receiving a disability from ND PERS, it may mean you no longer have to recertify. And if you just started your application process and you received that Social Security Disability Award, your ND PERS disability may be automatically approved by ND PERS. Now, we will still require the disability application forms along with the Social Security Award determination letter, but it can really help speed up the process and help you throughout the disability process. Let's take a minute to look at disability payment options and how those would be calculated for you. You will have the same disability payment options to choose from as you would retirement plan payment options. Here's a quick recap of those payment options available. If you are a single individual, you would have the single life benefit payment, the 10-year or the 20-year term certains available. With those 10 and 20-year term certains, you may select anyone as a beneficiary, and that payment term starts when you begin collecting your benefit. If you are a married individual, you could choose any one of these five options. You could choose the single life, the 50% joint and survivor, meaning if you were to select that and pass away, your spouse would receive 50% of your benefit amount for the rest of their life. If you were to select 100% joint and survivor and you were to pass away first, your spouse would receive 100% of your monthly pension amount for the rest of their life. If you were to do the 10 or the 20-year term certains, it's still a lifetime benefit for you, but the payment to your beneficiaries would again be limited to either that 10 or that 20-year term, which would start when your disability payment begins. If you are married and applying for disability, here is a look at your survivor benefit options. If you take the single life disability benefit and pass away, your beneficiary or beneficiaries will receive your member account balance as a lump sum payment. If you have selected one of the joint and survivor options that we just discussed, your spouse would receive an ongoing benefit for their lifetime. If this option is elected, they begin to be paid from your member account balance. And once that account balance is depleted, they are paid from the general pool of funds for the rest of their life. If you have selected a term certain option, either the 10 or 20-year term certain, and pass away before the term is complete, your beneficiary or beneficiaries receive that monthly benefit for the remainder of that term. Now, if you pass away after the term is complete, any named beneficiaries receive your member account balance if that is applicable. Next, we'll take a look at the differences with Social Security, returning to work, and COBRA options. One of your recertification forms requires you to report any earned wages you receive while earning disability from North Dakota Public Employees Retirement System. Now, if that work is outside of NDPERS, meaning you're working for an employer that does not have an NDPERS retirement plan, you may continue to receive your disability payment as well, unless you earn more than 70% of the wages that you earned while working in your position with your NDPERS employer, and that 70% of the wages are earned for more than 9 consecutive months. Once those two factors are met, you would no longer be eligible for disability. The second option would be if you return to work to an NDPERS participating employer. Now, if you return to work with an agency that does have NDPERS retirement and you are required to participate in the retirement plan, then your disability payment will stop. When applying for the NDPERS disability, you will also be offered the vision and dental plans, regardless if you have NDPERS vision and dental plans at the present time. Now, if you are currently enrolled in the Voya Life Insurance through NDPERS, you may continue this term insurance at your own expense. Another option is to apply to Voya to pay premiums on your behalf. Another option, this one is for health insurance. If you are currently enrolled in the NDPERS health insurance and you or an eligible dependent are not Medicare eligible, you will be offered 18 months of COBRA Health. Now you can take that for the full 18 months or just on a month-to-month basis. That is your choice. Continuing on in the world of health insurance, now if you are an eligible dependent or Medicare eligible, even if you don't have NDPERS health insurance, you will be offered health insurance with NDPERS in one of the following plans. One Medicare plus other health insurance. The One Medicare is the Dakota retiree plan for the person in the household who qualifies and has Medicare. It's a supplement to Medicare Parts A and B and has the prescription drug Part D coverage. The other would be the non-Medicare dependent or dependents, and this is the same insurance that the current state employees have. The other option is the Dakota Retiree Plan. Now, if all members of your household are Medicare eligible, you could take this plan for each member, and that is a supplement to Medicare Parts A and B and has a prescription drug Part D on there. Now, if you are a dependent, become Medicare eligible after your application, you would need to notify NDPERS within 31 days of that eligibility. That would be considered a qualifying event, and you would have 31 days from the date of that eligibility to sign up for the One Medicare plus other or the Dakota Retiree Plan. Enrolling in NDPERS retiree insurances are based on qualifying events. We also call those QEs. Enrollment for these retiree insurances needs to occur within 31 days of that qualifying event. If you or another person in your household is approved for Medicare, you will be offered the Dakota Retiree Health Insurance Plan within 31 days of the QE. If you have not received any notification from NDPERS, but you have been approved for Medicare, you will want to reach out to our NDPERS office immediately to let us know. In some situations, your COBRA health insurance may be extended beyond that initial 18 months. COBRA continuation coverage may be extended if you are deemed disabled by the Social Security Administration and you meet certain requirements. Now, this will allow you, a qualified beneficiary, to remain covered under COBRA for up to 29 months or until you meet Medicare eligibility, whichever would occur first. Now, what does this mean to you as the disability applicant? It means you will absolutely need to submit a copy of your Social Security award letter to NDPERS within 60 days of being awarded that Social Security disability. The sooner, the better. What we recommend is for you to call NDPERS to let us know that you have received a Social Security disability award, and we will be able to provide you an email or an address to get a copy of that award letter sent to us as soon as possible. If your retirement plan has a retiree health insurance credit, the RHIC is effective when you begin receiving the disability or retirement payments from NDPERS. The RHIC, or Retiree Health Insurance Credit, is a reimbursement of any after-tax, non-subsidized premiums for health insurance, dental insurance, vision, or long-term care. These cannot be subsidized with any government discounts or anything like that. It is a reimbursement of after-tax, non-subsidized premiums. Next, we'll take a quick look at how your disability payment is calculated. NDPERS disability and retirement payments are not paid from the same account. Your retirement benefits are first paid from your member account balance when you begin receiving them. Once your member account balance is depleted, you are then paid for the remainder of your lifetime benefits from the general pool of funds. For disability payments, those are paid from the general pool of funds. You remain on disability and receive those payments until you've met your normal retirement date, which is either meeting the rule for retirement for your plan or the age for your plan, which is 55 or 65, and then those payments are made from your member account balance. Once your member account balance is depleted, you are then paid the remainder of your lifetime benefits from the general pool of funds. Before we wrap up this presentation, let's take a quick look at an early retirement calculation and a disability calculation. For folks who may qualify for early retirement, the formula is your years of service times your final average salary, also called an FAS, and we take that times your benefit multiplier, which is either 2% or 1.75%, depending on your plan type. Once that is done, we multiply that times your early retirement reduction, which is either 6% or 8%, depending on the plan that you are on. In this example for the early retirement, your 10 years of service is multiplied by $4,000 FAS and also multiplied by the 2% benefit multiplier. So for this individual, the monthly benefit would be $800 less the early retirement reduction. Now, your retirement counselor here at NDPERS could run a retirement estimate for you on the early retirement and the disability one to let you compare those as well. As far as a disability calculation on the right, that is a little bit simpler. The formula on that is simply 25% of your final average salary. 25% of this $4,000 final average salary equals a $1,000 per month disability benefit. Well, we have covered a lot of information today on disability and the application process. We are still here to help if you have any additional questions. Our main office is located at 1600 East Century Avenue, right here in Bismarck, North Dakota. We are in Suite 2, which is on the southwest side of the building. We understand not everyone is able to attend a face-to-face meeting at ND PERS. There are many different ways that you can reach out to us to either visit with your retirement counselor or pull up additional information on disability. You may call our customer service number at 701 328 3900, or you can also call toll free at 1 800 803 7377. We have many online resources available, and you can access those resources any time of the day or night, so you don't have to wait till normal business hours. Basically, just go to our website, ndpers.nd.gov, and you can search retirement guideline, retirement application, disability guideline, disability application, anything that you need in regards to your benefits. Additionally, you can go into your government login for ndpers.nd.gov and be able to look into your member self-service to get benefit estimates and request an appointment and so forth. Lastly, you can reach out to us or find us on Facebook and YouTube by simply searching NDPERS. I would like to thank you for watching this disability presentation and wish you the best of health today and always. Thank you.